Everybody, and welcome to Internet Marketing Specialist Designation and Active Rain University. We are going to bring you some fantastic information today. Let's take you through some of the things that were going on. We want to let you know how you can learn to get ahead of your competition, and that would be to earn your Internet Marketing Specialist Designation. If you want to learn more about who we are at the Internet Marketing Specialist Designation, just go to imsd.net. Once you're at imsd.net, if you're interested in joining, Bob has been kind enough to arrange a promotional code for all Active Rain University members, and you'll find that by using the promotional code ARU if you want to log in. We're not here for that. We want to talk about the topic that we're here for today, and that is that Facebook is still king. We wanted to go over what is the powerhouse out there. We want to learn a little bit more about it, and as we do each week, I can't do that without having some experts here on the call. So I would like to introduce to you today's panel that's going to be joining me. First, we've got Stacy Harmon. Stacy is the principal of Harmon Enterprises. Stacy is often referenced. One of the things that people reference about Stacy that you might not know is she's one of NAR's Realty University trainers. And Stacy, can I say that you're a Facebook fanatic? Would that be accurate in saying?
That would be very accurate.
All right. Well, say hello to everybody and give us a little bit more about who you are, how long you've been playing and all this stuff, and why you're here on the call with us, Stacy.
All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. I love Facebook, and I have a Facebook marketing services company, and we focus on real estate. I've worked in real estate for 16 years and love showing realtors how to use this medium to build their business. So hoping to give a couple great tips today.
Well, great tips would be a small amount that what comes from you, so no worries on that. And our other guest on today's call, we've got Jimmy Mackin here with us. Jimmy is the co-founder of the MLS app. He is a writer with Inman Next, and some of you probably know Jimmy best for the tech support group out there on Facebook. Jimmy, say hello to everyone and let us know why you're here and what they're going to expect to hear from you.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Chad. Well, first I'm really excited here just to talk about Facebook. For me, I think once we move past the learning curve of how to use Facebook, we realize that, we can really actually realize the potential and the power of the platform. So, for me, I hope to provide some simple, practical tips on how you can use the platform to really grow your business, and that's what I'm looking forward to today.
Perfect. Well, we are very excited to have the two of you here with me to share some of the great information. Let's jump right on into it. We called today's session Facebook is King. So what do we mean by that?
Sure. Well, for me, this is a question I get asked often is, should I be joining Facebook and, with all the existing social networking sites out there? And for me, what I always say, Chad, is I always say that, as marketers, because that's what we are, marketers, I don't think we actually even need to make the decision because the consumers have already made it. Right now, ComScore reported this, right now 90% of all social media activity is on Facebook. And although Google Plus is very promising and very exciting, it really is a fraction of the activity that's happening online right now. And in fact, I actually don't think that Google Plus is really stealing market share from Facebook, where a lot of people think that it's going to be sort of a battle between Facebook and Google Plus. What's really happening right now, Chad, is that the pie is just getting bigger. There's just more people getting on social networking sites, and both of these networks are going to continue to grow. So for the time being right now, I think we just simply cannot ignore Facebook. And even though it's not Empire Avenue or Google Plus or Quora or any of these other social networking sites, it still is king, and it still is the most widely used platform in the world.
Those are some pretty interesting numbers there, Jimmy, that you're talking about. Now, you're saying that you don't think Google Plus is taking any market share now. Let's flash forward a few years. Do you think that we've got a king and queen situation where they're side by side and fairly equal, or do you think that Facebook will continue to remain king and Google Plus, while powerful, might just be the prince or the duke of the community?
Sure. Well, it's really hard to make a prediction because, I don't want to look like an idiot 2 years from now saying, Google Plus is going to be, dominating Facebook. But the fact is this, is that Google Plus, I think, grew up to 25 million active users over the last couple weeks, or the last like month and a half here or so. Facebook also grew by that number, roughly about 25 million users. So again, I just think it's going to be one of these situations where we're going to be using both of these platforms, just like we use WordPress and Active Rain and Twitter and Facebook. I don't think it's going to be an either-or situation. I really think we're going to be, if we end up using Google Plus in the future, it's going to be using both of them.
And Chuck, can I just chime in here real quick?
Stacey, go ahead.
You know, there's just such an engaged, trained user base on Facebook right now, too. And Google Plus is still, again, it's something I'm definitely keeping an eye on. It's not that it's not going to be relevant to us. But in terms of real business opportunities right today, there's no doubt that Facebook is kind of an established platform now for that, and worth an agent's time to kind of dive into and take a look at what's going on, because you know you've got your grandmother on Facebook, you've got your parents on Facebook, you've got the college kids on Facebook. You have so many people who have just really embraced the platform, and it's where there's the most eyeballs at the current moment, and a lot of really rich business opportunities there today.
So that's an interesting, and I'm going to believe that most of the people that are on this call, I'd actually like to find out for a second. Do me a favor, in the chat area, let me know, yes or no, are you on Facebook already? I'm just curious if there's anybody on this call that's really not on Facebook. I'm seeing a whole bunch of yeses scroll by I can't even see the names, they're going by so fast. Multiple pages, finally on Facebook. Someone's actually saying, are you kidding me? How can you not be? Okay, I saw one no go by. I didn't catch a name with it. I saw one person that's on this call right now that says they're not on Facebook, and they might have just been saying that just to throw a no in there. Do we have to be? I mean, Jimmy, I think you pretty much laid that out. I mean, it's where the world's going now. If we're not there, we're missing the boat, aren't we?
Well, you know, I wouldn't go as far as saying we have to be on Facebook. You know, there's the argument, and Stacey and I were talking about this last night, that a lot of the top producing agents in the country, the ones that are, you know, really make up a lot of the, you know, a lot of the home sales, they're not on Facebook. They're not blogging. They're not using social media. But I think if you are in a position right now where you want to grow your business, where you want to connect with consumers, you want to actually, again, build real relationships online that's going to have a positive impact for your business, you have a few options, right? You can continue to use traditional marketing tools like, you know, your newspaper and direct mail campaigns, which maybe they work, maybe they don't, but you have this, you know, you have this huge opportunity here where you have this massive platform where everyone's on, that people are spending an incredible amount of time on. You know, to not take advantage of that again, if your business is not where you want to be, then yes, I think you should. If your business is booming and everything's going great, then, you know, maybe just continue doing what you're doing. But if you want to grow your business and you're struggling with your marketing, then I would seriously consider, you know, going after Facebook with everything you have.
Well, and the other element in that, too, is if you see yourself as not retiring in 5 to 10 years, I'd start investigating it now. Not that it's going to be maybe the staple or cornerstone of your entire marketing or strategy, but it's something to start learning, because Facebook is a process to learn. There's not only, you know, Jimmy started off by saying, you know, once we get past the basic skill set of understanding how to use Facebook, we realize how powerful it is. But there's a lot of people who still need to get that skill set and understand kind of how Facebook navigates and what the difference is between a page and a profile and these different parts and pieces and how privacy works, and begin that learning curve now if you're in real estate for the long haul, because it takes time.
Oh, well said, well said. Okay, so Facebook's king. We know it is right now. Jimmy, you told us that 90% of all that social media interaction is happening right on Facebook. So if we're going to be anywhere, we definitely need to make sure that Facebook's part of it. And we've got a group of people that are. All these people that are on the call are on Facebook. So I don't know that we need to, except one, and we're having conversation on that on the side here. I don't know that we need to jump into too much on this, but let me ask you, just as a side note, should we be getting on Google Plus just in case and getting started now and being an early adopter?
Well, it's an excellent question, Chad. There are definitely some inherent advantages to being an early adopter, right? The first mover's advantage. You see this with Facebook. People who started Facebook business pages 3 years ago probably grew their fan base much quicker than they would if you started right now. But for me, Chad, it's as simple as I'd rather get it right than be first. And I'd rather say, well, okay, with all these existing platforms out there, Twitter, blogging or ActiveRain and WordPress and Facebook. If you're struggling to grow your business right now, if you're struggling with your online marketing, Google Plus is not going to solve your problems. So I would think right now, if you don't feel really comfortable and you're not generating business and you're not growing your reach and connect with new people on a regular basis, there's a bigger problem here, and it has nothing to do with Google Plus. It has to do with your marketing strategy. So again, I think it's a personal question. I think you have to look at what you're doing right now for yourself and to make that determination. So in short, if you're struggling right now, figure out the existing problems with your marketing. Don't join another social networking site. If everything's going great, then by all means, go ahead.
Perfect. And that sounds like we hear a lot of times from other people. Chris Smith was just saying it yesterday on a chat that we were all on. He was saying start with one page, make sure that you're getting that one page before you bother adding a second one. Don't go crazy. So my question to you guys is, and Stacy, maybe you can take this. Before we move on, just to throw a little thing at you, we had one person who said to me they're not on Facebook of this large group, and time consumption was the main reason that I got as why that person's not on Facebook. How much time do you really put into it?
Well, that's a really difficult question to answer. The reality is it's based on what your strategy is, and I'm with Jimmy. You've got to have a strategy for your Facebook marketing, and we're going to show it in a slide, but there's a lot of different options for Facebook. And so depending on, maybe your strategy is you're just running Facebook ads, and maybe you're outsourcing that. It requires very little Facebook time in order to manage that strategy. But if you're going to get involved with relationship building on Facebook, starting with your profile, you need to make sure that you've got Facebook on your phone and you're checking in and monitoring Facebook on a daily basis. And that can be down to 10 minutes a day. But some of those efficiencies come as a result of having a level of expertise in the system, understanding how to apply lists to your what you're looking at. Again, we're back to it being a process and being based in a strategy. But once you're savvy with Facebook, it really is possible to have a 10-minute a day strategy where you're just touching base with your most immediate sphere of influence and posting content from the field.
Okay, let me ask you guys a quick question. How did you register for this webinar? How did you guys go about registering? Type that in for me, let me know. We were just discussing that here. Via ActiveRain, email, ActiveRain. Through a social network, Facebook feed even, found you on Facebook, found it on ActiveRain, Facebook. So we can see the power of it happening right here. And Chris, I hope you're enjoying the iPad while you're on the beach in Hawaii joining us for this call. So let's keep going and move along here. You guys had a really, really interesting term. Jimmy, better sameness. Everybody's kind of shooting for the same target on that. Can you explain to everybody what better sameness means?
Sure. Well, this is one of the things we talked about last night in the Twitter chat we had on Maps chat, which is essentially if you're new to Facebook right now, if you're just getting started or you're struggling to grow your page, what a lot of us do is we look at our competition and we just copy them, right? We just try to do what they're doing just simply a little bit better. And that's what I'm referring to when I say better sameness, just essentially looking at your competition, copying them, and just trying to do a little better. And as I indicated last night, I think it's the bad strategy simply because our competition in most cases is really doing it wrong. So what we need to be doing to really break out from that mold of doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, creating a Facebook page about yourself, naming it after yourself, syndicating your listings, right? That's what we see a lot of people doing. What we need to do is we need to look outside of our industry and outside to find real true innovation. Now, I want to give everybody here on the call, I want to give you a link to a site that I'd like you to check out. It's called Mission Bicycle. It's facebook.com/Mission Bicycle. Now, if you're looking for true innovation, if you're looking for some company that is effectively using Facebook marketing, definitely check these people out. They develop custom bikes in San Francisco, and I came across them this morning. And what you'll find when you're on their site is they're personal, right? The information they share is really engaging with their fan base, and it's lots of photos, lots of videos, and when you join the page, you feel as if you know who the company is within the first couple seconds of being a part of it, because they create such a personalized experience for you. And I think an example like this, Chad, and there's many others out there, is what we need to be sort of emulating, not what Joe from Caldwell Banker is doing. Look at companies like this who are really innovating, and let's start actually emulating these guys and use them as our inspiration.
Well said. And just got a comment from a friend of mine, John Novak, out there on the call, and he said, thank you, Jimmy. Finally, someone acknowledges that there's actually a world outside of real estate to look at. So, John, good to see you on the call with us, and Jimmy, just want to let you know that absolutely you're hitting a point. Stacy, do you have anything you want to specifically add on that?
I'm ready to talk about the next.
You're right. You're just waiting and go.
You got it. I mean, right. I totally agree.
Jimmy, give him that link again. There's a few people who are like, wait. What was that site we got to check out?
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat. But it's actually it's actually Mission Bicycle. So MISSION Bikes. And if you go to facebook.com/Mission Bicycle, that's a direct URL. But if you just type in the search box Mission Bikes, you'll see it. They have about 20,000 fans. And the reason I came across them, just as a quick side note, is one of my favorite bloggers, Jason Fried from 37 Signals, wrote about a great customer service experience with them. And I visited their page, and I found out really just immediately fell in love with this company, and I want to share it with everyone today.
So, Stacy, you are sitting there, and you are just knocking at the door here for me to get onto the next slide already, which will segue me right into that next slide, wouldn't it? And opportunity knocking. Tell me what you want to talk about on that one.
Yeah, well, I just really think, Jimmy and I were discussing this last night, Facebook is really such an opportunity for an agent who is looking for a competitive advantage, or an agent who's looking to really build their business. And we wanted to just make sure that you understood that this is a way to kind of have a little in with established top producers in your neighborhood. Jimmy mentioned it at the beginning. It's like, I'm in Newport Beach, and we work in a lot of gated communities, and we have a lot of top producers that own those neighborhoods, okay? It's really hard to get in and compete with them. If I was an agent selling actively in this market, I would be turning to Facebook, because Facebook offers me the opportunity to build a relationship with people. I'd start direct mailing into that farm and telling them to connect with me on my page. I would be starting to meet people in the local area and friend them on Facebook. There's ways to develop connections and circumvent this lock that people have on the relationships that are in a community. And Facebook really provides a great opportunity to kind of compete with those who are ignoring Facebook as a channel. There's still a lot of opportunity with Facebook, and I want to encourage you to kind of look at it as a potential competitive advantage and opportunity in your business, especially if you're trying to maybe dethrone somebody who's really got a lock on a particular geographic farm. It's a great chance to make some progress.
Okay. From there, one of the things we talked about, and I think this can make sense, we said it's still early, and we all know the old saying that the early bird, gets that worm. So what's still early about it? I mean, there's a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of interaction happening. Are you actually saying that it's still early in the world of Facebook?
I think so. I know Facebook's been around since 2004, so it's more established in terms of the social networks, but how people and especially realtors are just figuring out how to really utilize this to benefit them. And the opportunities and the creativity keeps evolving. And I'll give you one example. I mean, ads are a really underutilized feature in Facebook marketing for most real estate agents. Most real estate agents that I talk to on a daily basis are not using Facebook ads at all. I predict we're going to see this skyrocket in the years ahead, and it's still a great opportunity to kind of be the first mover or establish a really strategic plan in Facebook that's going to build business, because there are still so many people who aren't actively or appropriately embracing Facebook, and there's, again, opportunity there and chance to kind of make an impact, even with page marketing, even with your profile and relationships. There's no expiration on relationships. So get in there and start talking to your sphere of influence and creating those connections, and you can benefit.
Jimmy, you think it's still early in the world of Facebook as well, with opportunity like early bird getting that worm?
Yeah, well, just simply because virtually, and I say virtually, probably 95% of pages I see are doing it completely wrong. So yeah, I think we haven't hit anywhere close to a saturation point where there's so many really successful Facebook business pages that try to dethrone someone in your area is going to be really difficult, because chances are in your area, there's probably nothing out there. It's again, just these standard real estate pages that are just listings, and that's all they are. So I think it's definitely early. And there's one thing I remind everyone on the call here is that there's always room for more great content, right? There's always room for more great information, and there's never going to be, we're never going to hit that point where we say, okay, I've had enough, right? We're always looking for information. We're always looking to learn more things that we're actually interested in, and if that's your strategy going to Facebook, that's going to take you 95% of the way there if all you're doing is providing really relevant, helpful information. So, yeah, I think it's still early. Blogging's been around since 1994, right? The first blog post was published in 1994. I launched my blog 7 or 8 months ago, and my first blog that I've ever launched, I launched it 7 or 8 months ago, and within just, again, a couple months, it began to pick up traction, and had the opportunity to write for Inman Next, and that's obviously leading to more things. So I'm 18 years late to the game on blogging. So I think there's still plenty of room for growth here, Chad.
Chad, also, Facebook continues to evolve their platform. So new products come along, as Facebook Places come along, there's certainly an opportunity to work with that to gain some greater visibility. I know an example in Orange County of Raj Kazar. He's a realtor who creates places for his listings, and then he checks in during showings, and he asks other agents to check in lieu of signing in. And so great adoption of kind of an early bird gets the worm concept. He's the first out there, and he's able to take advantage of the new products that Facebook offers because he understands the medium.
So he's actually having people check in on Facebook Places instead of signing in at a property?
Isn't that great? He has a sign that says, in lieu of signing in, the seller has requested that you check in on Facebook Places.
Wow.
Which
that's
puts all the puts all these agents checking in to their, and having that appear on the wall of their profile, and having their audience see that they're at a listing.
There you go. If you get nothing else out of this call today, how about that for an idea for all of you out there, getting people to do that. Now, I'm getting some great questions, including in capital letters, going, how do I do that? We will get to your questions. I want to walk these guys through some of the other things we're going to talk about. Our plan is to leave time here to make sure that we can answer all of your questions, but some of your questions will probably be answered by some of the stuff we're going to cover. So let's jump onto this. And Stacy, there's four tools of Facebook marketing that I know you like to explain. Do you want to start and explain what some of these are, and Jimmy can kind of jump in with you?
Yeah, briefly, let me just give an overview. When you're talking about effective Facebook marketing, you have to understand that there's actually 4 different products, per se, that Facebook offers. And each of these products are distinct and individual. They have their own terms of service. They have their own ways of working. They have their own nuances, and they have different results and expectations that you can look for out of them as a result. So you have to be clear when you're starting in Facebook to understand that profiles are different than pages, they're different than groups, and they are different than ads. And I don't have time to go into all the nuances of this here, but I have written a lengthy blog post that explains all of them at pixelcoaching.com, and that's my Facebook marketing for real estate website, and you can take a look at that here. Now, just know that the profile is what 750 million people have. That's what you get when you sign up for Facebook, and it's personal to you. Pages are a separate product. Groups also have some great marketing opportunities for real estate agents, and then ads are the only element that you pay for. And I think what we'll do is give you some ideas in each of these categories going forward, but know that when you're formulating a Facebook strategy, it can be very complex, and you can utilize all of these elements, or you can pick and choose those which are going to really work for you. It's very individualized, and there's no right or wrong. It's really about what's going to work best for you and your business.
Okay, so I know a lot of people obviously have a profile. Everyone's got a profile.
Yes.
Do most people on this call here have a page? Just wondering if you have your own page set up. Some people tell me, yeah, I got 4 of them. Yes, multiple. Yep. Okay, so we've got lots of people who have pages, and we'll talk about pages here. And then groups. Let's switch over to groups. How many of you have created groups, or you're part of a group, or you're in a group? You're getting a bunch more no's on the groups. Okay, so we've got some no's here when we get to groups, and then ads. Let's see how many of you are taking advantage of Facebook ads. No, not yet. No. Okay, so we got a lot of people who are not touching on the ads yet. So what I'd like to do, I guess, is, Stacy, everyone's got a profile, and I'm getting some people here who are saying, I don't understand how all these things work and how they all go together. This is a profile. We don't need to talk about it too much, but tell us a little bit about what is different about a profile to everything else.
So I know Jimmy's got some things to share on this, but I just want to state that the profile's really, in my opinion, the most powerful business development tool in social media. So having said that, I advocate that it is utilized for business development. You just have to be smart about how you go about it. And maybe Jimmy can explain some of his thoughts. He's got some great ideas on how to approach this.
Thanks, Stacy. Well, I actually wanted to poll the people listening in today, Chad. I was wondering if you were to define your most valuable business asset, what would it be? The single most valuable thing that you have right now, what is that? If you want to see, I'm just curious here because I'm looking at the answers in the box. I want to see what they have to say. Website, okay. Lori says sphere, availability, brand. Okay.
Debbie says you.
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking this, right, and here's my opinion, your network, and this is true for every business, the people you know, the breadth and depth of your network is the single most important asset. Not your website, not any tools or technology, all that can be copied by your competition. It is your network. So with your Facebook personal profile, one of the biggest misconceptions is we cannot use it for commercial gains, right? In the terms of service, they actually say you cannot use it for commercial gains. What they're referring to, and this is very important, so I'm going to say it slowly, what they're referring to is you cannot sell stuff or rent your profile to advertisers. So I can't go in there and blast my listings, which you shouldn't do anyways, on your page either, and I can't rent it to advertisers. It doesn't mean you can't use your profile to proactively network with people. And to me, as Stacy was saying earlier, this is such an underutilized tool because we just think, okay, our personal profile, we'll keep it really, really personal, and we'll keep our business life separate. I don't think you can separate the two, and I think it's a mistake to try to do it. In fact, I think you should do the exact opposite. I think you should have a strong professional presence on Facebook through your personal profile. Let me give you a few ideas here. First, think about your existing clients. Have you friended, right? Have you connected personally with your existing clients, past clients, existing clients, people you've done business with? I want to see if we had a lot of yeses on that. Okay, lots of yeses. Now, this is what I'd like you to do. I want you to set up a list, and I want you to put all of those people, all of your past clients, prospects, current clients, I want you to put them into a Facebook list. If you don't know how to do that, we'll share a link afterwards because I'm sure Stacy and I have both written about this. I want you to put it in a list. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go over to your news feed, and you have 2 tabs. You have top news and you have most recent. And then when you click on most recent, you can sort your news feed by list. And you can select, right? You can select the list of clients. Now what you're doing here, and to translate that for you, what you're doing here is you're seeing a live feed of all of your customers' conversations, right? This is incredibly powerful. If you compare this to, let's say, like a drip campaign where you just send an automated email, a pre-canned email that nobody reads, I don't read, nobody ever reads these things, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but if you compare like a canned email versus live interactions, conversations, and simply engaging with these people, it's no competition whatsoever. If you want to get more referrals through Facebook, you have to do this step. Trust me, I've done it with in my own business. It works. All you have to do is just put these systems in place. So the first thing is, for your personal profile, absolutely set up a list and make sure that you are monitoring these conversations and that you are actively engaging. I think one of the questions, Chad, we had earlier was, I'm not on Facebook because I don't have the time. Now, my response to that is, you don't have to spend hours on Facebook. You just have to make the most out of the 10 or 15 minutes you have. And if that 10 or 15 minutes you're spending interacting with past clients or current clients or potential prospects, well, that's a very useful 15 minutes. If you're just there kind of lurking on Facebook, reading people's posts for hours, well, that's not really doing anything for your business. So that would be the first thing is, again, focus on effective time management when it comes to your Facebook profile. The second thing that I'd like to mention, I'll pass it back to you here, Stacy, but the second thing I want to say, the last thing I'll say about personal profiles is you want to make sure that you are actively making new connections. This is the, and I keep calling this the art of proactively networking, going out of your way to connect with more people, not to spam people's wall, but rather just to simply engage with them. And when you do it, you're beginning the early stages of building a relationship. And one of the things Chad and I talked about before this call even started was, if you trace back the origins of all of your relationships, all of your most fruitful relationships right now, the ones that get you all the business, lots of referrals, if you trace them back to the very beginning, in most cases, if not all cases, it usually starts with a simple conversation, a simple interaction. And then those relationships begin to blossom over time, and then obviously you begin to yield some of those results over time. It doesn't happen overnight, but again, you have to be proactive on it. So that's my advice for profiles. Make a list, proactively network, and stop lurking, because that's not going to help your business.
I'd like to also add that, don't underestimate the importance of connecting with other agents on your profile. I know for some people that just sounds like an awful idea.
Stacey, I'm supposed to block every other realtor. I don't want anyone else to know what I'm up to. Really?
But what I'm hearing time and time again from agents that are seeing success with actual deals in Facebook as a result of Facebook is that they're connecting with agents across the country and they're doing referrals. And it makes perfect sense because your profile is going to be about you. You're going to get to know other people through your profile. You have the opportunity to understand more about them as a person and their profession. And when you have a referral to send, aren't you motivated to send that referral to somebody that you know is going to close the deal and who's likely shown you that they have something in common with you or do business in a way that you can trust? Again, the profile is a really great way to get to know agents across the country. And using lists, you can segregate out agents into their own list, and you can use permissions to control who sees what based around those lists. So those are things that I would start looking at if I was going to start marketing better with my profile and growing my business. The other thing is, a lot of people started their profiles maybe a couple years ago on Facebook with the intent of just connecting with their family and their social sphere. Facebook's really evolved, and a lot of people are now seeing that there is business opportunity with the profile. However, our profile details still reflect like our home phone number or our personal email address, and I advocate that all agents go in and actually audit the data that's on your info tab to make sure that your business contact information is in there. And I actually created a checklist to kind of help facilitate this, this process. Just, it's not rocket science. It's just a little checklist that you can kind of go through to make sure that your profile puts your best professional foot forward. And as people get to converse and know you on your wall, if they go to the info tab, they can at least get to your website. They can call you. And if you go to my Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Harmon Enterprises. And on the landing tab, you can put your email address in. You'll get automatically emailed that checklist. But if not, at the minimum, audit and make sure that your professional world is reflected there. Facebook asks you, where do you work? What do you do? You can put a little bio in there. All of these things really play a part. Once people are interested in you, they're going to research you and find out what you do. And you want to make sure they can contact you if they have business for you.
So let me ask you a question before we move on from profile, because there's someone out there on this call that I'm asking this on behalf of. Stacy, Jimmy, I've got Chad Himes on Facebook, and I'm there, but I've also got Chad Himes Realtor, right? I should have two profiles. Is that correct?
Actually, no. The terms of service state that you may only create one account, and an account is the same as a profile. So you may only have one profile. If you're looking to segregate your business and your professional life, which I understand most people are, the way you would want to do that is to create a business page that would be representative of your business world, and keep your profile as your profile.
Okay, so that brings us to talking about our business pages. Let's talk a little bit about what a page is all about and what we should be using a page for.
So a business page is a separate marketing tool in Facebook. Your profile manages your business page, so it's not a separate account. Your profile is kind of the administering entity. And a page, per the terms of service, is explicitly for commercial use. So this is where you can promote your business. This is where you can have a business entity. And I like to think of pages as kind of like a public website within the Facebook umbrella. They're totally public. There's no privacy options associated with them. They're a space where you can have a business persona within the Facebook umbrella. And so you're seeing an example here, and you know, we're seeing lots and lots of real estate examples with pages, and there are generally some best practices that you can take from what Jimmy was saying on the profile about conversing and building relationships. You certainly can do that on the page, but on the page wall. But pages also offer a great opportunity in that you can install these third-party applications that really extend the functionality of the page and can promote your business and do things like, as you see in this example, lead capture. So this is actually something that Jimmy's developed, which is working really well for this agent here. She's actually getting leads on Facebook, and she's able to install this application on her page, which she wouldn't have the opportunity to do that on her profile.
So quick, Jimmy, how does this work? Just give them a quick overview of what we're looking at here.
Sure. And I definitely want to touch on one more thing. I think it's really important on pages. This is our Facebook conversion tab. Essentially what we did is you know, when a visitor first lands on your Facebook business page, the overwhelming majority of them never come back, right? They consume your content through the news feed, so they actually are never really on your page. So what we wanted to do was develop a sort of a landing page of sorts that would capture these people's email address. Because, again, you're competing, and Chris Smith and I talked about this before, you're really competing with grandma as a business. You're competing with grandma, their mother, their father, their brothers, their sisters on Facebook for their attention. So, you know, being able to connect with them on Facebook is great, but being able to capture their email is really critical for you to actually be able to continue to market these people, continue to get your message through. So that's really all we did here was an incredibly simple application, allows you to capture that person's email, and we require the person has a video because, again, videos just allow you to personalize the experience, and it really helps with the, you know, helps with people actually opting in on it.
So Jimmy, how do they get to this application if they want to know more or they want to find out? I know you didn't want to, but they're asking. So how do they find out more about the app?
Yeah, you can go ahead and actually just go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/themlsapp. That's THEMLSAPP, and just post on our wall, and I'll send you a private message and with more details. And you can just drop that into the chat if you'd like. Now, there's one thing, and I can tell you right now, the secret to actually having a successful Facebook business page is to solve people's problems. That's the secret. And if you think about it for a moment, if you think about who it is you're actually trying to target, right? What are your clients, the area, their location, the area, the age, the demographics, who it is you're actually trying to do business with, and what are their problems, right? What are some of the major things that cause them issues every day? And it can be real estate related, or it can be, again, it can be about the community, it could be whatever it needs to be about, but if your objective, if the underlining theme here is to be a resource and solve people's problems, your page will grow. And it actually can be, there's a lot of strategies you can use, but that underlying strategy of solving people's problems on a regular basis without asking for anything in return is how you actually build relationships with people online. And I think it's important, I know we're going to move on to groups here, but I think it's really, really important to take a look at your last 10 posts, okay? Everybody who has a page, which is quite a few of us who do, look at your last 10 posts. Can you say that those solved anybody's problems or provided something of really of value to them? Or is it basically just kind of self-promotion or just a mundane status update? And I think it's really important to kind of just look at our page and just try to be as objective as possible and see, with our track record, what have we been doing, and is it actually solving people's problems? If the answer is no, let's start there.
Okay, so lots of great questions coming in. We got a great audience when it comes to this. One of the questions that's going to help us with the segue that's coming up here is going to be, it says, I've heard make a list several times. So Jimmy, you jumped right on that. Stacy, you've added to it that they could break down their list, agents across the country, past clients, prospects, etc. Should they be making lists or should they be making groups?
So one of the things that's really tricky about Facebook marketing is that the terminology is really important. And there is a very distinct difference between lists and groups. So lists are referring to something that allow you to basically group your friends on your profile. So lists go with profiles. Groups are a totally separate product in Facebook, and groups offer some really great marketing and business development opportunities for agents in an array of ways. And so groups, we're looking at an example here, really function the same way. There's 3 types of groups. Groups can either be open, closed, or secret. And the groups all, again, function the same way. The difference is if the content of the group is public or private, and if the members of the group are public or private. You're looking right here at a group that's in Southern California called Real Estate, and this is actually a place where real estate agents kind of come together. They're members of the group, and they pitch their listings and their wants and needs. And what's happening is they're doing, again, agent-to-agent business, and they're getting showings and doing pre-marketing on listings through this group where the expectation is set up that if you're a member of the group, you're going to be able to kind of pitch your properties and ask for the kind of help on a real estate front that you need. So that's just one application of groups. There's several others. Jimmy's created a really great group. Do you want to tell them a little bit more about that, Jimmy?
Yeah, sure. And we actually got one question by Steve Chain in there that I wanted to bring up because I made a note of it as I was talking earlier. Steve asked, do you separate personal and business network lists? Steve, I have a recommendation for you. If you have a really personal, I mean like something you don't really want to share with the public, I would actually recommend starting a completely private group with those people in that circle, whether they're family members. My girlfriend does that. She has a family member group, and all the information in that group is completely private. I think that's much easier to maintain than having a list of your personal contacts and then kind of always sorting or changing the share button so you actually can share to that particular list, because you're going to forget one of these times and you're going to share something you think is personal and it's actually going to go out to the world. So again, I'd recommend actually starting a group to do that, Steve, and hopefully that helps answer your question. But back to what Stacy was saying, for me, we have the tech support group for real estate agents, which is now up to like 1,500 members or 1,550 right now, which has been a really amazing way just to learn about technology. But for me, here's what I think we need to be thinking of. Everything we do online, and this goes well beyond Facebook, everything we do online, from our personal profiles to our pages to our blogs to our Twitter accounts, everything we do has to be about making personal connections. And it just has to be about that. It's not about fans. It's not about followers. None of that stuff really matters at all. It's about actual, real connections. So groups, what's really amazing about groups and why I love them so much is, unlike a page, everybody feels like they have some skin in the game here. Everyone feels like they're part of it, right? That they have some type of belonging to it, and they're much more active. So whereas a post on my page may get 10 comments, the same post in a group may get 150 comments. People are much, much more active. Now, the technical reason is because of notifications and the bookmarking feature, but the bottom line is people just feel, again, to be part of something, and that belonging is what really drives the interactions in groups. So don't think just you have to have a Facebook business page or a group. I recommend starting both, but I recommend actually starting one and being effective with it first and then starting the second one. But again, the bottom line here and the takeaway is focus on making real personal connections. That's all that really matters.
So a group is a place that I could post that picture of, me in high school doing crazy things that I don't want everybody to see. And if it's a closed group, I don't have to worry about it getting out there. And then, Jimmy, I don't have to worry if I forget to post it only to my list of high school buddies or something like that.
Yeah, much easier to maintain. It's again, because think about your mobile devices. All of us are actually updating our Facebook pages from our mobile devices. Have you ever tried to sort by list or share by list through a mobile device? It's impossible. So I actually don't even know. Stacey, do you even know if that's even possible? I've never tried.
I don't think you can. You can watch the news feed on the mobile device by list, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got groups, and after groups, and Jimmy, I want to thank you for the tech group that you've got there for everybody. There's always some great information going on in that tech support group. Stacey, you talked about ads earlier.
Yes.
What about them? We're missing out on them?
You're missing out on them. It's a brilliant, brilliant opportunity to reach a very targeted audience, and there are, it's just limited by your creativity, really. I kind of look at ads as falling into some major groupings. At the minimum, you can be advertising your listings on Facebook. And just to give a little background on ads, they really are run in either a cost per click or a cost per impression basis. So you're either paying, what I recommend for starting is you're paying every time somebody actually clicks on your ad. Okay? And you're paying between 50 cents and $2 per click. It really varies depending on who you're targeting and what your how big your reach is. But that's kind of how ads work. And what the power of them is you can target, let's say this LA luxury condo for sale listing ad. This is in LA, but we targeted that ad to people of a certain age in New York City. And so we can, and you can even further granularly control that. Say you have a listing that's on a golf course, you can target it to men who are of a particular age range who have an interest in golf, or like Tiger Woods, or all of these different likes and interests. Anything somebody puts into Facebook, you can target to. And so it's very, very powerful. It allows you to make sure that your audience that you want to see your ad is seeing your ad, and listings are just one way you can do that. You can also do branding campaigns that are designed to market you and drive traffic to your website. You can put traffic inside or outside of Facebook with Facebook ads, and then you can also pair it with your page strategy, like you see in this At Home in Scottsdale ad. She uses that to drive people to her business page and increase the likes that she has on her business page. So they're very, very flexible. And then there's another category of ads called sponsored stories, which actually will help you to kind of reach the friends of people who already like your page. And you can see this example here of a real estate group that targeted me based on several of my friends already liking that page. So lots of options, very affordable, very targeted, and I anticipate will be a large area of growth in real estate marketing budgets. I think people will shift their budgets from print to Facebook ads in droves.
I sure hope so. Jimmy, anything you want to add about the ads before I move on?
Yeah, well, the only thing I'll say about it is Facebook ads is the single most powerful advertising tool out there that exists. Nothing even comes close. So it's, the thing I would keep in mind if you're going to run an advertising campaign, there's going to be things that will work, things that won't work. This is on a set it and forget it type of tool, and frankly, no advertising is if you really want to be effective with it. So, one example, Chad, is Buffalo Wild Wings. They advertise to their fans, right? They once someone's actually liked the page, they still spend they still actually invest in ads to advertise to their existing fan base. And you would ask, why would someone do that? And the reason they're doing it is, again, just to keep reminding their existing fans who already know them and like them that, hey, we exist, and this idea of staying top of mind. And as a result, the average Buffalo Wild Wings Facebook fan spends $616 more per year than their typical customer. So invest in ads if you can. Again, just be prepared to be monitoring these things and making sure that you are staying on top of it.
So one of the questions, everyone jumped in on that. Stacey, what's very affordable? You threw that word out there, and a bunch of them are like, wait, what are you considering affordable? What do ads usually run?
That's great. That's a great question. I'm finding that ads, like I had mentioned, run per click between 50 cents to $2 per click, and it dramatically varies. Facebook will make a recommendation for you about what they think your bid should be, and then I'm actually seeing the cost per clicks, be about 70 cents to $1.20 in the campaigns I'm currently running. And this is fluctuating all the time, but hopefully that gives you some gauge about what it is. Don't forget, you don't get charged unless they click on it. So, you can see in one of these examples, there's a phone number there. She's not getting charged for that ad if they pick up the phone and call her.
And you can't do that on Google. They don't let you put a phone number into your Google ad.
And then there's a great point. There's a great point that's brought up in the chat also, that you can limit your ad spend and say, I only want to spend $200 on an ad, or I only want to spend $50 on an ad, and cap it. So the control that you have as a marketer is really great. So affordable can be whatever you want it to be. You can cap your campaign at whatever amount works for you.
That's a great point. And the nice thing is that we've talked about many times in the IMSD program, when we talk about this stuff, you can even set up an ad now that's going to run for, Labor Day weekend, that would start on the Friday and it would end on the Tuesday with a limited amount. So you could actually put together something that is time sensitive as well, only runs for a certain number of days. But yes, you can absolutely limit your overall ad budget. And Lori, thank you for bringing that to everyone's attention. Now, I don't want anyone to go anywhere because you're all filled with great questions. This is something I have to do, and that's just to remind you, if you want to learn more about the Internet Marketing Specialist designation, because you want to get into that, go to imsd.net, use the promotional code ARU to save yourself money on the registration, or you can pick up the phone and you can actually call 619-500-IMSD. That's 619-500-IMSD. Good. Now I got that out of the way because I have to, and I get to go to questions. So you guys have been asking some great questions out there, and I'm sorry to say we're not going to get to all of them in the next 8 minutes. I can guarantee that, because I know we'll get a conversation going from a few of them. So here's what I'm going to offer for you. If you go to facebook.com/IMS designation, that's facebook.com/IMS designation, you can post your questions on our page there. Jimmy, Stacy, myself, we will get there and answer questions throughout the day, as will our community of people that are out there. And Mark, thank you very much for the wonderful comment you just threw out there. So I'm going to grab a question. A few of them seemed really interested in the groups that we were talking about. Jimmy, you set up a huge power group. How do you go about setting up a group?
It's really actually incredibly simple. If you actually go, you can actually just on the left-hand side, you'll see groups if you actually belong to one. Well, actually, let me actually just drop the URL here. I'll just drop it into the chat here. Essentially, if you go to like Facebook.com, I think it's groups, you can go ahead and create a group. You're going to be brought to a screen that says big green button says create a group. Here's some tips for creating a group. You have to, in the early stages of doing it, you have to proactively pull people in. Nobody wants to be a part of a group that has 5 people in it. So you have to make sure that you are, again, set some time aside over the course of the next 30 days to actively promote the group, to pull people in, and you should be the initiator. You should be the one starting the conversations, getting people talking. Eventually, it will take on life of its own as it has in our thread, whereas I don't really even have to moderate the group. It's pretty much self-governing at this point. But again, the early stages of creating a group is first establishing why does the group exist and why should anybody join it. That's really important, and make sure that's actually a very, not say join this group because it's all about me, because no one will join it. So that's the first thing. Again, go to Facebook groups, establish a theme, establish why it exists, and then be prepared to be very active and be prepared to work your butt off just to pull people into the group.
And actually, I have a group tip for real estate agents. You might consider creating a group for the geography that you farm, like a neighborhood group, and using that as a marketing opportunity when you door knock or when you do postcard campaigns. And it's not a place where you would pitch, but it'd be a place where you can get neighbors kind of getting together to talk about the community and what's going on there. And then maybe you can supplement that with market statistics once every month. Those kinds of things. It's another great use of groups that I'm seeing some agents see good success with. Be the provider of this collaborative space where people who are all interested in the community can get together and discuss things.
Perfect. Now, Stacy, you talked about lists. Jimmy also jumped in on lists there. You were talking about how they could make tons of different lists and all that kind of stuff. How do they go about setting up a list? And can somebody be in more than one list if, maybe they're a realtor friend and they're also someone they went to high school with or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. You're going to go to the account area and go and edit your friends. And then in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a button to create a list. And you can create the lists there. And then lists are totally arbitrary. They can be whatever you want them to be. And you can have people in one list or multiple lists. And by default, people aren't aware that they're in your list, so you can have them work for however you want to work, but you can move people in and out of lists on the Edit Friends page. Now, one caution, lists are actually not that easy to kind of manage. Jimmy touched on that earlier. The interface is not make it easy to kind of move people in and out of different lists. And so if you have something that's definitely for a tight, small group that you want to stay private, I think moving those over to a group environment is a really great suggestion. I advocate keeping your lists, 5 to 10 lists to get started. Make sure you understand how they work before you get into a big organizational task of getting people on multiple lists.
Okay, and Lori threw in a great comment. I do this as well. It also allows you to control chat as well. So you can be offline to a certain group of people on your chat, yet you can be online to others. So that's another great use for it if you just want to avoid, grandma who keeps wanting to talk to you while you're actually lead generating. You can not be there for that. So now, Jimmy, let's jump back to you for groups again. How does someone go find a group? Like we talked about your tech group that you've created, the tech support group. How does someone out there go search for groups on topic, or how would they find it?
Sure. Well, when you log into Facebook, you're on the home page, and there's going to be a search box right there below the address bar in the browser. You can actually just type in, the name of what you think a group is. But what you want to do before you actually click on any of them, you actually want to just click on the magnifying glass, and then you're going to be brought to Facebook, the search, in which you can sort the search by people, pages, and groups on the left-hand side. And when you click on groups, everything you search for a keyword phrase is only going to return results from groups. So again, look at the white box, the white search box, click on the magnifying glass, and then you can sort your search by the category type, which is people, pages, groups, apps, events, and so on and so forth.
All right, so let's
a few of them are actually joining it.
There you go. Let's quickly jump on this then, Jimmy, to follow that up, and then I'm going to go back to Stacy with the next question here. Jimmy, how do you keep people from joining and then taking advantage of your group? Cheryl was wondering. I mean, you've got that great group. How does someone come in? How do you keep someone from coming in and taking over?
It's an excellent question, Cheryl. You want to set the expectations up properly from the get-go. You don't want to be making up rules as you go along because it's going to make you look bad, and it's going to make you look like you have no control over the group, and no one's going to want to be a part of that. So, again, setting the expectations up properly, essentially saying, this group is about this. And if you're not interested in this, then don't join it. And here are some of the basic rules, like don't promote yourself and don't spam us. Again, our group, I intentionally keep it incredibly simple. When we have issues, I don't try to make a rule up every single time we have an issue. I want it, everybody who is part of the group really kind of believes the same thing that I believe, which is we need a centralized source that we can just exchange ideas very quickly about technical issues because they're a major pain point for a lot of people. So, Cheryl, to answer your question, set the expectations up properly. Don't be afraid to ban users. And again, empower your other members who are really your advocates in the group to help you with that process. So early on, I made a few of the key people. I made them admins of the group as well because, again, it's not about me. It's really just about the bigger picture here, which is the group. And these people have been really a critical component of the group's success because they have moderated it. They've helped me keep control. And, again, they've really guided the group in its direction right now. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Cheryl.
Thank you, Jimmy. Now, Stacy, quickly, and Cheryl says yes there. Jimmy, before I jump over to Stacy, if they want to get a hold of you after this webinar, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, one of the things I wanted to give away today because I wanted everyone to go over to facebook.com/inmannext and post on their wall. If you'd like to get I have 2 posts here, the secret to using your Facebook personal profile for business and my Facebook posting cheat sheet, which gives you real-life examples of how to engage your fan base. So if this is something you're struggling with, I'd absolutely recommend checking it out. So just jump over to facebook.com/inmannext, post on their wall, just say, hey, I'd like those guys, and I'll shoot them over to you. So that's where I'd like to send everyone today, Chad.
Perfect. Thank you, Jimmy. So that's facebook.com/InmanNext, and we'll post that here. Stacy, quickly, you talked about places and what a great idea that was that one agent had taken advantage of. A lot of people don't even understand what Facebook Places is. Can you give a quick overview? How do they get involved? How could they do something like that?
Sure. Places require you to check in from your mobile device at the location. So if you're wanting to create a Places page for your listing, you're going to need to do it from the listing. And you'll go to the Facebook app that's on your Android or your iPhone, and you're going to try to check in, and you probably won't find the location, and it should let you create a new location. So hopefully that will point you in the right direction for creating places around that particular strategy that I talked about.
Perfect. And Stacy, how would they find you after this call if they want to follow up, ask you some more questions, anything like that?
So certainly you can find me on Facebook. I have Harmon Enterprises. It's facebook.com/Harmon Enterprises. And if you're interested in the checklist to make sure your profile's optimized for business development, you can connect with me there, and I'll make sure to get that sent over to you. And also, I love Twitter, so I'm Stacey Harmon, STACEYHARMON on Twitter. Great way to reach me as well. And I also have the Pixel Coaching fan page has a link to like 29 tips and blog posts that I wrote specifically for real estate Facebook marketing, and that's facebook.com/Pixel Coaching. So you can check that out as well.
All right, so Harmon Enterprises, Pixel Coaching, Stacy Harmon for your Twitter handle. Jimmy, you're on there. It's just Jimmy Mackin. Am I correct off the top of my head?
Yep, Jimmy Mackin, that's right.
There you go, Jimmy Mackin, if you're looking for him. Guys, thank you very much for joining us on this call. I want